In this video, we're going to create a UV map for our capsule. I'm going to select the main part of the capsule here. I'll go to UV and I'll choose cylindrical. In the channel box on the right, I'm going to make the rotate Z 90 and I'll make the projected horizontal sweep 360. And then I'm going to go to my UV editor. And in the editor, I'll right click and choose shell, selecting the shell. I'm going to scale the whole thing up because I want those boxes to be more square. Now I'll drag on the y-axis to square them off a little bit more, as you can see right in here. And now I'll scale it from the center in to fit inside the UV quadrant. And I'm going to put that just outside the box for a moment. I'll return to my viewport, right click, go to object mode, and deselect. Now I'm going to do the same cylindrical mapping for the cylinder around the propeller. I'll select it, UV, cylindrical, in the channel box, rotate Z 90, and the projection horizontal sweep 360. I'll now go to my UV editor, and I'll right click, choose UV shell, select the shell, get my scale tool, make it much larger so I can see squares, and then with the y-axis I will drag down, and now I've got something that looks pretty proportional. Now I'll scale the whole thing in to fit inside the UV map. I'll pull that out to the outside, and I'll return to, now I'm going to select the propeller, and we're going to use planar mapping for this. So I'm going to be using planar mapping on the x-axis. With it selected, I'll go to UV. I'll go to planar, attributes, setting it for X, hitting apply, and then in the channel box on the right, I'll make the projection width and height the same number, and then I'll go to my UV editor. I'll right click, choose UV shell, I'll get my scale tool, I'll scale it down, and I'll just move that outside the UV map. Returning to my viewport, I'll right click, go to object mode, I'll select the first part of the arm, and I'm going to go to UV planar attributes. This is going to be on the z-axis though, so I'll set it for z, hitting apply, and then in the channel box I'll make the projection width and height the same number. Going to my UV editor, I'll now right click, choose UV shell, and I want to marquee select these pieces because there are actually three pieces even though we merged them. So I need to do that with the editor. I'll scale it down. I'll select the bottom part of the arm in the object mode, UV, planar mapping. It's already set for Z, so I'll just click on it, and then I'll change it to the same setting I had on the one previous. Going to my UV editor, I'll right click, choose UV shell. I'll marquee select all three of those pieces. Getting my scale tool, scale it down, and I'll put that over on the left-hand side as well. I'll return to my viewport. Returning to the main capsule piece, I want to use planar mapping for the front of the capsule tip and then that little back piece. So I'll hit 4 on the keyboard so it's easy to see these faces. Now if I zoom in so I'm inside the actual geometry, it's going to make it easier to get those faces. I could have just done it from the outside, trying to be careful and shift select. That would have been another option. I could have gone in and right clicked and chosen face, held my shift and control and clicked on each one, but there's a quicker way to do it by simply going into the geometry, because now I'll hit 4 on the keyboard. Now I can just go to face. Now I've selected just the inside ones. If I hold the shift and hit the period, I can add. If I'd gone too far, I could hit the comma holding the shift and it would reduce it. Now I'm going to put planar mapping on that. UV, planar, going to the options. That's going to be set for X again. I'll hit apply. I'll put the number I want in for projection, width and height. Going to the UV editor, I'll right click and choose UV shell. Selecting the shell, I'll move that out, and now I'm going to go and do the back of the ship. returning to the object mode, and hitting 4 on the keyboard, going into the ship again, all the way to the back, right click, choose face, and I'll marquee select those, holding the shift and hitting the period. I'll get the next ring out. UV. It's already set for the planar mapping I wanted on X, so I'll click. I'll make those the same number, and I'll go to my viewport and return to my object mode. In my object mode, I'll marquee select all the pieces. Going to the UV editor, I'll arrange all of these to fit in the area that's going to be the UV map. So I'll move them and scale them as I need. These are the results I'm looking for inside my UV editor. I'm going to make sure that in my viewport, I'm in the object mode, and then I'm going to select all those pieces again. Returning to the UV editor, image, UV snapshot. I'll save it where I can access it again, and then we'll go into Photoshop and we'll start to develop the texture.